Hi guys, welcome to a new part of Photoshop tutorial. In this part we are going to learn another tool on the toolbar. Today we are going to learn the marquee tool. Actually the use of marquee tool is for made a selection on the image. So here it is, the marquee tool. You can see a small arrow is present at the bottom of the tool, which indicates that there are some sub options are available with this tool. So in order to view that sub options, just right click the tool. We can see all the sub options available with the tool. Here is first one is the rectangular marquee tool, elliptical, single row and single column marquee tool. I choose the first one. Now I am going to, you can see the cursor is now changed in the shape of a plus symbol, which indicates that now it is in marquee tool. Now I am going to make a selection here. Now it is a rectangular marquee tool. I made a selection here. Okay, so now you can see again the cursor is in marquee in the form of plus. That means now it is also in marquee tool. So you can make any number of selection anywhere you want. Okay, now I made a selection here. Now I move the cursor inside the selection area. You can see that now the cursor is changed into the move tool. That means you can move the selection anywhere on that image. Okay, now here I made a selection. Now if you want to add another selection into this selection, that means I want to add another area into the current selection. So just hold the shift key. Now you can see the cursor. An additional small plus symbol is also associated with that symbol. That indicates that now you can add another selection into the current selection. So I just left click my mouse and drag. Now I made another selection and added that selection into the current selection. Also I made another one. Now I add it into the previous selection. Okay, you can make any number of selection like this. Okay, also at the top you can see here are the options available with this marquee tool. That here is the normal selection. That means you can select anywhere on this image. This is the normal selection. Now here is the add to selection option. Now I just choose that option. Now you can see the cursor is automatically converted into an add marquee tool. That means without without pressing the shift key, you can now easily add any number of selection into the current selection. So here already I made a selection. Now I made another selection. Now you can see that that second selection is added into the first selection. Now I made another one. You can add any number of selection without holding shift key on your keyboard. Okay, now I convert it into normal. Now I made a selection here. If you want to subtract some portion from this selection, that means you don't want the entire selection, you want to subtract some portion from this selection, then just hold the alt key on your keyboard. Now you can see that on the cursor there is a minus symbol is present with this plus symbol. That means now you can make a selection and that is subtracted from the current selection. I made a selection here. You can see that now the selection is subtracted from the current selection. You can make any selection and subtract it from the current selection. Okay, now here is the option for on the option menu. Here is the option for subtract from selection. I choose that one. Now you can see that now the cursor is changed into the minus selection. That means subtract selection. So here I made a selection. Now I choose the subtract selection option. Now you can see that the cursor is changed into now the cursor is associated with a minus symbol. That means now you can make any number of selection which is subtracted from the current selection. I made a selection here. Now you can see that selection is subtracted from the current selection. So you can make any number of selection for subtracted from the current selection. That is the use of this tool available on the option menu. Okay, now again I made a selection here. Now I want to make only this selection. That means if I want to select only the intersection between two selection, then just hold Alt and Shift key. Now you can see that an into symbol is associated with the plus symbol. That means it is now in the intersection selection mode. I made another selection. Now you can see that only the intersection between the two selections are left. Now I made another selection. You can see that only the intersection is left. I made another one, that is the intersection tool. You can just make the selection using this option. On the option menu, here is the intersect selection option. I use that, and here I made a selection. Now you can see that without holding Shift Alt key, the cursor is automatically converted into an intersection selection. Now you can make any number of intersection selection on the current selection. This is the use of symbol marquee rectangular tool. Okay. Now here there is another option called elliptical marquee tool. I choose that one. Like the name suggests, the selection is in the form of an ellipse. You can make any number of selection here. You can just move that ellipse anywhere on the image as you want by using the move tool. Okay. Now I made an ellipse selection here, and now I hold the Shift key and make another one. That is, now the second selection is added into the previous selection. Okay. Now here is that option. I just on that add to selection option on the option menu. Now without holding the Shift key, you can make any number of selection and add it into the current selection. Okay. Now I made a selection here. I made an elliptical selection here. Now I want to subtract something from this selection, so I just hold the Alt Shift key. Sorry, I just hold the Alt key. Now the cursor is also associated with a minus symbol. Now I made another selection here. Now you can see that that selection is subtracted from the current selection. Okay. In the option menu, you can see here the add to selection, and here is the subtract from selection. So without holding Alt key on your keyboard, you can make any number of subtract selection from the current selection. Okay. Now I made an elliptical selection here, and now I want to make a selection with the intersection of that section selection. So I hold the Alt and Shift key. Now I made another elliptical selection here. Now you can see that only the intersection between the two selection is available. That is the use of intersection selection. So here is the option for intersection selection. I choose that, and now you can make any number of intersection selection without holding the Alt Shift key on your keyboard. Okay. Now you can easily convert from this this elliptical and rectangular tool by just holding the Shift key, just holding the Control M on your mouse. I made a elliptical selection. Now sorry. Okay. Now I made a rectangular selection here. You can easily change it into elliptical selection by using the Shift and M key. Now I press the Shift. Now I press Shift plus M. Now you can see that we can easily move into ellipse and rectangular selection. You can see now I hold Shift and M. We can easily move from ellipse and rectangular selection by using this short key Shift plus M. Okay. Now here is an option for further selection. Now I choose the rectangular selection. Okay. Make it into normal. Now I hold the Control key. Now I cut that selection. Now you can see that the cutout area is sharp. That means the edges are very sharp. Now I want to I'm not want such a sharp edge, so I'm going to change the feather option here. I make it as I just provide a value for the feather option. I provide 60 pixel. Okay, now I made a rectangular selection here. Now you can see that instead of a full rectangular, the edges are just a curved shape. Now I move that selection, so I hold the control. Now you can see that the cutted edges are not much sharp. This one is a fade one. That is the use of feather. Actually the feather indicates that how much is sharp the um, edges of the selection area. Okay. Now here is the option, I make it as 0. Now here is the option for style. Already it is in the normal form. Now I make it as a fixed ratio. Now I choose that ellipse option. Now you can see that you can easily, now I make it as fixed ratio. Now you can see that by using the elliptical tool you will get a complete circle. That means now it is in fixed ratio. You can get a complete circle using this option, fixed ratio. So if I use the fixed size, that means the size cannot be changed. Here is an option for the width. Only the size with that width is available. You cannot change the selection size. That is the use of this option, style option. Guys, this is how we using a marquee tool in Photoshop. Please subscribe my channel for more video updates. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part of this tutorial.